All right, and that concludes our Masters racing for the morning. We're going to make a big switch here over to the juniors. Up next is the women's youth quad. This is the Concept 2 trophy. This is a final that progressed from heats yesterday. In lane 1, Los Gatos. Lane 2, Redwood Scullers. Lane 3, Utah. Lane 4, Woodlands. Lane 5, Maritime. And Lane 6, Long Beach Junior Crew.
Our women's youth quad Concept 2 trophy race underway here.
And because these boats progressed from heats, we're going to see probably some crews that are a little bit closer to each other side by side in lanes. And certainly that's what we see here right out of the gate with Los Gatos, Redwood Scullers, and Utah. A lot of overlap between those boats. Slight advantage right now going to lane 1, Los Gatos in the early stages of this race. Redwood Scullers just behind them. Utah maybe by a seat behind Redwood Scullers.
I got to say, I enjoy watching finals where they have come from heats. You always know that you're going to get the cream of the crop in that race, and you're going to have tighter racing when it comes to finals because you've sifted through a lot of the crews that are here and you've found crews that are of similar speeds. And so you get to lump those similar speed boats into that final. And that's what makes finals racing so exciting is you get some crews that can really bring on a race, and there's a lot of talent that is linked together. So again, these crews can often have similar fitness levels, and so you get to see what is some really great racing when it comes to finals that have been sorted out through heats.
Yeah, for sure. And then, also what you can find is that someone might not have had that great of a race in a heat, maybe held back a little bit, and then came back to decide, like, hey, we want to do things a little bit differently, and really come and charge out in this final. And so right now, Los Gatos and Redwood Scullers are seeing their biggest challenge coming from lane 6. That's Long Beach Junior Crew. So Long Beach Juniors all the way across the race course, putting the biggest challenge against Redwood and Los Gatos. In fourth, it's going to be Utah. Utah sitting just abreast of Woodlands from Texas. So making the big trip here out to San Diego to row on this beautiful water. In sixth place, it is going to be Maritime. Maritime, a very successful junior rowing program from Connecticut.
Really great race happening right now in lane 1 and 2 with Los Gatos and Redwood Scullers side by side here and getting a challenge from that outside lane 6 Long Beach Juniors. Again, I always love a lane 6 push. They often get to be a little sneaky out there and they may not get noticed by what's happening. When you have two hard crews here, and especially when you're in an uncoxed event, you don't have a coxswain that's looking out for things like that. And so you can get laser focused on a crew that's right next to you. So, for example, Los Gatos and Redwood Scullers can be focused on each other. Meanwhile, Long Beach sitting on the outside, there's no coxswain there to call attention to, hey, we have another crew that's making their way up. We need to pay attention to that. So they may be able to go unnoticed, Long Beach Juniors there, making a push unless those athletes are really paying attention over in lane 1 and lane 2. These boats now starting to move past that second island. And so you're going to start to see things happen and change here as they cross that span and make their way onto our second landmass.
Yeah, and I'm telling you that those Los Gatos and Redwood Scullers, those boats know each other. So those athletes are very familiar, having raced each other several times throughout the course of a season, and certainly last season as well. Last year, Redwood Scullers prevailed in this event over Los Gatos. Long Beach also in the mix and came in fourth. Maritime just behind Long Beach in fifth. So that's the history of this. So these crews kind of out for blood there between Los Gatos and Redwood Scullers. Those crews side by side right now, just really flanking each other. And Long Beach also coming up. I mean, what a great race here for that top 3 position. It's going to be pretty close for us with our angle that we're at right now. Kind of too hard to see who's in the lead.
And the race that's happening right now is on some of the best water that we have seen all weekend. This weather is incredible. The water is flat and glassy. It is warm out. You could not ask for better conditions here to just let crews race against each other.
Unbelievable. No issues at all in terms of the weather. But look at this top three crews right now: Redwood, Los Gatos, Long Beach. I'm going to give a very slight advantage right now to Redwood, maybe by a foul ball over Los Gatos. So it's going to come all the way down to the wire. These two guys really pacing each other as we come into the final strokes. Long Beach back now by about a length or so of open water. But also in the center of the course, we're taking a look at Woodlands having overtaken Utah for the fourth place position, Maritime in fifth, but we'll see as they come a little bit closer in. But look at this, two boats side by side again, maybe about a foot for Redwood Scullers over Los Gatos.
And these women are absolutely digging in right now. They are unrelenting on each other. This is just some incredible racing. And as I say that, Redwood Scullers took a jump there and moved up a couple seats, if not 3 seats on Los Gatos. Let's see if Los Gatos has got a response to this. They're going to have to dig. And this is where the race gets really uncomfortable. You have to make that commitment if you are willing to continue to suffer. And if you're willing to bury yourself into that hole to bring yourself back into the race, because right now Redwood Scullers controlling it. They have just sent themselves ahead. They are almost at decks overlapping now. Los Gatos is going to have to make a move here. At this point, Long Beach Juniors, from what we can tell, are sitting in that third place position, but Redwood Scullers controlling the race now. Los Gatos starting to fall behind in what was a close race for the majority of this. Looks like Redwood Scullers were holding back, really wanting to drop the hammer here in the finish.
Yeah, I think finding another gear is key for that Redwood Scullers boat. There's a lot of international experience, a lot of national experience in that Redwood Scullers boat. So they really know when to turn it on when it's needed. And that is, at this point, it's looking like open water right now for Redwood Scullers as they come towards that finish and towards the Concept 2 trophy.
I think, as you said, that's an excellent point. A lot of maturity shown in that boat to be able to understand the race plan there and to execute as needed. So it looks like we've got Redwood Scullers, one.
You see the jubilation there at the finish line, lots of high fives. Here comes a Long Beach coming across the line. And then it is going to be Woodlands for that third place, or excuse me, that fourth place position. And then now Utah, the only junior crew in Utah. So amazing job here for them in this grand final for the women's youth quad. And then Maritime in that sixth place position.